Republicans have won enough seats to control the United States House of Representatives. The result gives the Republicans and President-elect Donald Trump a governing trifecta with control of the Senate, the House and the White House. But even with that majority, Trump may still not get everything he wants, including his top picks for cabinet jobs.
Donald Trump returned to Washington this week triumphant, relishing his election win and what he called a powerful mandate.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very nice gathering. Isn't it nice to win? It's nice to win. It's always nice to win. A lot of good friends in this room.
Those good friends are now being nominated for top government positions. Among them, Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz, a loyal Trump follower who has often acted as his attack dog on Capitol Hill. Gaetz has been the subject of a federal sex trafficking investigation that ended without criminal charges. And Fox News Channel host Pete Hegseth, a military veteran whom Trump wants as Defence Secretary. The civilian nomination has reportedly shocked many at the Pentagon, with concerns he could politicise the Defence Department, purging top generals. But Trump may face challenges securing them in their roles. The picks must be confirmed by the Senate. While Republicans have a 53-seat majority, the nominations are proving controversial, even within their own ranks. Republicans are presenting a largely united front with the Senate, House and White House now under their control. Trump met with President Joe Biden on Wednesday, the polite but awkward exchange signalling a vastly different era for US leadership, with Democrats now facing an uphill battle to combat Trump's agenda.
With me in the studios now, Pablo Foley-Elias from our US election team. Pablo, we just saw Biden and Trump there meeting. For Mr. Trump, this transition will be easier, will it not, with control of the Senate and the House of Representatives?
Look, it's good news for the Republicans because it allows the Republicans to push through sweeping changes to the economy, environmental protections, and of course that much talked about migration policy. And we're looking at a Republican Party that is very different to the one that we saw back in 2016, the first time Trump came into office. We're seeing more unity there. The issues may lie in the Senate because of just how the structure works. In order to get through Senate bills, you need a 3/5 majority. So basically, you need that to avoid this thing called the filibuster, which basically is a way of stalling legislation by keeping the debate going endlessly. So what will happen is that Republicans in the Senate will now have to go across the aisle and get some support from Democrats if they want to avoid this issue. That means that legislation may need to be watered down in order to get it through, meaning that there's going to have to be conversations with Democrats. And also the Senate tends to work a little bit more independently to maybe the president and whoever is in office.
So he can't. He does not have carte blanche right now.
No, he doesn't. And of course, you know, there's another element which is the U.S. judicial system. Of course, once again, the U.S. judicial system is in a very different place to where it was in 2016, because back in 2016. It wasn't, as we'll say, conservative-friendly as it is now. If we go from the very top, where you have the Supreme Court is definitely more conservative-leaning, but it's not just in the top courts. It's also lower down as well. We're seeing that it's definitely more conservative-friendly. So in the event that, for example, Donald Trump decides to push through executive orders, the difference now is that the chances are that will remain if there are any legal challenges. The courts tend to be a bit more conservative-leaning, meaning that there will be fewer legal challenges, or at least it'll be easier for Donald Trump to maintain those executive orders.
Now, in the last few days, Trump's team has been taking shape. Let's start with one nomination, Matt Gaetz. He's going to be the next Attorney General, the country's top law enforcement official.
That's right. There's been plenty of conversation, and we're going to be having a lot of conversations over the next weeks and months, particularly. Matt Gaetz is potentially going to be the Attorney General. He is a fierce Trump loyalist, and he's been known as a bit of a pit bull in Washington, has always been on Donald Trump's side, or at least in the past few years. He's now a former congressman from Florida. He's a very divisive figure even among Republicans, and he has limited experience even working as a lawyer, much less than previous attorneys general in the United States. So that's also one thing that may not go in his favour. He's also spent most of the past few years working as a politician, as I mentioned. And he would, interestingly and shockingly for many, be potentially leading the branch of government that had actually been investigating him for allegations of sex trafficking minors. Now, he's always denied those allegations, and those charges and that investigation, or weren't charges, but those investigations were dropped back in 2023. But it's also important to mention as well that the House Ethics Committee had been investigating allegations that Gaetz was part of a sex trafficking scheme as well. That's now ended, of course, because he stepped down as a member of the House of Representatives.
Any other nominations that have proved controversial?
One that jumps out as well is Tulsi Gabbard. She has been nominated as the Director of National Intelligence. She is a former Democrat, very fiercely loyal as well to Donald Trump. Once again, lacks experience in intelligence matters. She's known because she has opposed US interventions in both Ukraine and in Syria, and has even suggested that the US provoked Russia into aggressive policies. There have been plenty of people who've said that she's very too friendly to Russia. So that's also caused a lot of concern and raised some eyebrows.
So what's the common thread then in these nominations?
Fierce loyalty to Donald Trump.
That's it, is it?
That's essentially what we've been seeing. Fierce loyalty to Donald Trump. It's not a surprise. Donald Trump, in many ways, is shocking in many aspects, but we're already prepared. We know he's unpredictable.
Pablo,
So he's predictable in the unpredictable.
He is indeed. Pablo, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gad.